2019 BMW IBSF Bobsleigh and Skeleton World Championships, battling in two-man for the Max Huben Trophy over 4 heats on the fastest ice on the planet in Whistler. Eased out of 4th place in the 3rd heat, Great Britain's Brad Hall and Nick Gleeson put together another strong start and a great run down the mountain. They knew they were still in with an outside chance of a medal as they came across the line to lead with 4 to go. The man who had eased the Brits out of 4th place in the 3rd heat was Canada's Chris Spring as he moved up the order from 6th position overnight. It was always going to be a tough battle. Spring had just 100th in hand, started a fraction slower than his rivals, and at the line there was nothing between them after 4 miles of ice on the fastest track on the planet. Honours even, tied with 3 to go. In the medals, in the two-man, the last man to beat Francesco Friedrich in a two-man race on the 13th of January 2018, Nico Walter, still suffering with a hamstring tear, but 3rd place overnight, and a great final drive meant he would consolidate himself firmly on the podium, the first medal awarded of the World Championships. The 2 remaining sleds were the joint Olympic champions from Pyeongchang, Justin Cripps and Francesco Friedrich. Cripps had set a brand new track record, crushing the old mark in the 1st heat to lead by 700s, went 1200s back overnight, was 2700s back after 3 runs, and in the end it didn't look as though he had enough to really challenge Friedrich. Silver medal guaranteed at least for Cripps, and a 2-minute wait for history and destiny. Francesco Friedrich, a 4-time two-man world champion, 3 times with Torsten Margis behind him. A comfortable lead after 3 heats, and Friedrich does not let leads escape him anymore. He came cruising across the line to his 5th straight two-man title, tying the great Eugenio Monti and putting his name on the Max Huben Trophy for the 5th time in succession. With Cripps and Walter also in the medals, your two-man world champion again is Francesco Friedrich. In the women's bobsleigh competition, the action was dramatic on day 1. Then, in the 3rd heat, the drama continued. The reigning world champion, Alana Myers-Taylor, 2nd overnight, crashed out of contention, leaving the field wide open for her rivals. The final heat saw her teammate Brittany Reinbold in 5th position. She was in a tight 4-way battle for the medals behind the overnight leader Mariama Yamanka, just 0.2 of a second in it, and Reinbold took the lead away from Majesta Segeva, but a slightly loose final run left her ability to grab a medal in doubt. Next up was Katrin Bile, who'd moved up from 6th position to 4th in the 3rd run. With Jennifer Onosanya, her brakewoman, the junior world champion, speared ahead of Brittany Reinbold, but again, her run perhaps just a little too loose to guarantee any silverware. The Austrians led with 3 sleds to go, first of whom, celebrating her 30th birthday, was Canada's Christine de Bruin. With 26-year-old brakewoman Kristen Buchnovsky in her first World Championships, de Bruin put together a fantastic final run. She was in the bronze medal position as she raced away, guaranteeing herself a medal. With 2 sleds to go, it was still all up for grabs. In 5 practice runs, Stephanie Schneider crashed 3 times. Her 3rd trip down the mountain saw her in danger of dropping out of the medals. It was so much of a crash fest all the way down. But she tidied it up, regathered her nerve, and by the line, she knew she'd gained herself at least a silver medal. Surely, though, nobody would catch the overnight leader. Mariama Yamanka's 3rd heat, the first of the 2nd day of action, was 65 hundredths of a second better than the track record. She crushed the opposition, But down the fourth and final run, she nearly crushed her own chances, almost rolled it off 50-50, just gathered it all together. But she is our 2019 BMW IBSF Women's Bobsleigh World Champion, even if she couldn't quite believe they'd survived that run at the bottom of the mountain. Yamanka and Dratsek, the champion, Schneider and Strack, the silver medalist, De Brown and Bujnovski take the bronze for Canada. The final medal battle of the opening weekend combined bobsled and skeleton in the teams competition. Each of the four disciplines represented men and women's skeleton, women's bob and two-man bobsleigh. Each of the nations or groups of nations made up with one sliding group from each of the disciplines, and it's the lowest elapsed time over the four runs that wins our teams competition gold medal. As always, this is a topsy-turvy race with the lead changing with each discipline. Often we find that skeleton has the biggest influence, and so it was. Nikita Treyubov of Russia, first off at the top of the race. He set the fastest time in men's skeleton, and so Russia won, led after the first heat from Canada and Germany. The second element was the women's bobsled, and after a slew of crashes in the Women's World Championship race, the crashing continued. Corey Hall of Canada with Kat Medeiros, they crashed out and dropped their team lower down the order. Alicia Rissling had a decent day in the women's encounter, but she and Bianca Ribi also inverted in 50-50. The second of our teams to do so, and they weren't alone. Mariam Yamanka almost crashed away her World Championship gold medal on the final run earlier in the day. She did crash out with Franziska Bertels, and it wasn't done yet. Team USA were leading as Canada came to the line. Christine De Brown and Kristen Bujnovski. Now, they had already taken a bronze medal in the women's race earlier in the day on Christine's 30th birthday, and they drove themselves into the lead over Team USA at the midway point in the standings. There was one team yet to come, the leaders after the first heat, but Nadezhda Sergeva and Yulia Belomesnik, who finished in 6th place in the World Championships a couple of hours earlier, also fell victim to 50-50. They all crossed the finish line, all the teams were okay, but the starting order for Heat 3 would be very dramatically different. With the USA still battling Canada and Germany for medals, the long, fast track favoured Savannah Graybill as she put her team into the leaders' box with one element yet to go, much to the delight of her teammates. But it's a bruising experience on this track. 1100s covered first to second, Germany in the medals as well. And into the final run, it was down to Johannes Lochner, who'd had a fairly average men's World Championships in the two-man, to do the anchor leg duties for Germany. He managed to overhaul the USA and Canada, Germany taking their 4th straight Teams World Championship gold. Johannes Lochner on the squad for the 3rd straight time after Eagles and his home track in Koenigsegg. So the final result, Germany claiming team gold, Canada team silver, and the USA 3rd and 4th. Fantastic topsy-turvy racing, top to bottom. The action continues into the second weekend as we have men and women's skeleton and the blue ribbon event to round it out, the four-man bobsled.